Midnight. They say most studios are just rooms with speakers and a MIC, but according to new whispers online, 50 Cent's G-Unit empire might be hiding something way bigger than that. For days now, fans have been replaying one particular moment where 50 casually mentions, "There's 27 million in that building that I put in there alone," and suddenly the internet is convinced this isn't just a studio, it's a billion-dollar fortress built for something more than music. Blog pages, fan forums, and so-called insiders all claim there's way more going on behind those black and white halls in Shreveport. Some say there are rooms no one's allowed to film in, others insist there are locked wings even longtime associates can't access without special clearance. People who've allegedly been inside talk about strange security rules, no phone zones, and projects they're not allowed to mention publicly. Did 50 really turn a cheap city lease into a secret power center worth close to $1 billion? Is this just a flex, or is there a deeper plan behind that $27 million investment he keeps hinting at? Tonight, we're breaking down the rumors, the claims, and the speculation surrounding what might really be hiding inside G-Unit Studios. Interview 158-211. The moment those new whispers about G-Unit Studios began circulating online, people acted like the whole entertainment world had suddenly cracked open. It wasn't the first time the place made noise, but this time it was different. This time, the conversation wasn't about a project or a soundtrack or a show. Instead, the talk was about something deeper, something that made fans question how much they actually knew about the empire 50 had built. The story began quietly on a late-night livestream where someone claimed they had a cousin who once worked inside the building. It sounded ridiculous at first, just another social media rumor floating around for attention. But then more people started commenting, adding small pieces, saying they had heard the same thing from different corners. It was like everyone suddenly remembered that one small clip where 50 said he had put 27 million into that building, and they started wondering what exactly he meant by that.
Back in the day, I had, let's say, 1 or 2 keyboards to make an entire album. So I had to figure out ways to make the sounds different. So I would go in pawn shops and find guitar pedals and what have you to make the sounds in this one particular keyboard sound different so I can make it.
According to several pages online, the talk wasn't about him flexing equipment or lights or fancy consoles. The whispers described a place that felt more like a private nerve center where he could run projects without outside interference. People who said they visited the location mentioned odd security instructions, locked hallways with motion sensors, badges that changed color depending on what areas someone could access, and doors that required 2 people to open from opposite panels. Some of these stories sounded exaggerated, but they spread so fast that fans began treating them like confirmed accounts. One person in a fan group even claimed that when they were brought inside for a brief meeting, the staff told them not to stand too close to the far end of the hallway because it triggered an alert even if someone was on the approved list. The person admitted they didn't know if it was a joke or a real instruction, but the energy in the room made them follow the rule anyway. That same day, a video surfaced of someone who claimed they had seen something unusual inside one of the studio wings. The clip wasn't clear, and the audio was distorted, but the person insisted there were entire sections of the building that didn't look like they had anything to do with music. Instead of studios or control rooms, they described large spaces with tinted glass panels, long tables, dim lighting, and screens covering the walls, almost like a strategic planning center for high-level meetings. They didn't say what those meetings were about, only that no one was allowed to speak when certain individuals walked in. The internet ran with that claim instantly. Fans wrote long threads about what those rooms might be used for, some believing it had to do with future film projects, others guessing it was connected to business deals he wasn't ready to reveal yet. Interview 453-519. A separate rumor began forming around an old audio engineer who claimed he had helped set up part of the sound system years ago before renovations started. He said he was shocked by the difference when he visited again after the updates. Back then, he thought it was just a production warehouse with decent equipment, but after the transformation, he swore it looked like a completely different ecosystem. He described rooms so silent that he could hear the sound of his own breathing bouncing back at him, floors that didn't echo no matter how hard someone walked, and walls that seemed to expand the moment the speakers turned on. He said he saw racks of untouched gear still wrapped in plastic, equipment he estimated was worth more than many full studios. According to him, it wasn't just a recording space but a place designed to run full multimedia operations without relying on any outside facility. Another strange moment came from one of his longtime associates who hinted during an interview that 50 had created a space where he could run anything from a film set to a live broadcast without stepping out of the building. The way he described the structure made people feel like they still weren't being told the full story. He avoided specifics, but he said the building had
alone, just the studio. Everything that I bought away from that is shit that I bought just because I need them to feel what you feel right now.
Yeah.
Here. So it's not a bad place to go.
Layers, a word that made fans curious because it implied more than just separate rooms. Commenters asked if the structure reached below ground, if there were hidden corridors, or if the renovations included additional construction not shown in public photos. The interview clip went viral overnight, pushing even more speculation into the spotlight. As the excitement grew, some fans pointed out that the building itself sits in a quiet area with almost no outside foot traffic, which only added to the mystery. They wondered why such a massive place with such intense equipment and so much money poured into it existed in a location that seemed intentionally removed from big city chaos. People began theorizing that this isolation was strategic, offering privacy for projects that might need secrecy before release. These ideas weren't confirmed by anyone, but they spread through social media like wildfire. A few people even drove by the building just to see if something felt different. One person said the place looked humble from the outside, but the moment they parked nearby, they felt like the air had changed. They noticed cameras tucked under corners, tinted windows reflecting the street like mirrors, and an entrance that never stayed open longer than a few seconds. Alongside all these claims, fan pages started posting old clips of 50 talking about building something that would stand long after he was gone. In those interviews, he always talked about legacy, structure, and owning the process instead of renting it. People rewatched those moments searching for hidden meaning, thinking maybe he had been hinting for years that G-Unit Studios was more than a simple workspace. Some said he was building something that would allow him full control over every part of his creative world, from directing to audio to scriptwriting. Others guessed it was even bigger, something he planned to pass on to younger talent he wanted to raise from the ground up. In the middle of all this online chaos, a particular moment from a behind-the-scenes clip resurfaced. In the clip, 50 is walking through one of the hallways when he jokingly tells someone not to open a certain door because they're not ready for that room yet. He laughed, the people around him laughed, and the moment seemed harmless at the time. But now, fans watched it differently. They wondered if he was referring to one of those secret spaces everyone kept talking about. The moment blew up on social media, with people zooming in on the screen trying to identify what part of the building he was walking toward. And while these theories swirled, more accounts began emerging. One person said they had seen a separate wing filled with equipment they thought was meant for high-end film scoring, not regular TV production. Another claimed the studio had two different power backup systems, something usually seen in data centers or major broadcasting hubs. Yet another insisted there were floors within floors, spaces that didn't appear on the public layout. None of these claims were confirmed, but the sheer number of stories made fans wonder what the truth could be behind all these layers of mystery. The most surprising rumor came from a fan who said they overheard workers mentioning that certain rooms required both a code and a physical keycard, something rarely seen in a standard entertainment facility. According to their story, the workers joked that even they didn't know what was behind those doors, and that they were told not to ask questions. The claim felt dramatic, maybe even invented, but it spread online instantly and pushed the conversation into a new direction. People began suggesting that the renovated building might hold projects that were still under wraps, things that couldn't be revealed yet because they were part of a long-term plan. And as these stories piled up, the conversation grew louder, because everyone wanted to know the same thing. Why would anyone put that much money, that much detail, and that much secrecy into a place meant for recording and filming unless there was a deeper plan behind it all? The curiosity surrounding the building turned into something close to obsession once a new wave of online posts began appearing from people who claimed they had family members who worked in maintenance or administrative roles inside the property. Nobody could confirm these accounts, but they spread quickly because each one added a new detail that made the place sound even more complex. One person wrote that their aunt, who allegedly handled cleaning shifts, was told never to touch a certain metallic door near the far wing. She said the supervisors reminded the staff every week that particular areas were off-limits, cleaned only by a specialized team brought in from out of town. This detail set off another round of theories, with fans asking why any studio would need dedicated cleaners for one specific hallway. A different commenter claimed their cousin told them he saw a small meeting room filled with screens running feeds from all over the building. If that detail was true, it meant the security system was far more advanced than anyone had assumed. The cousin even said the people watching the monitors spoke quietly, almost like they were sitting in a control tower guiding some kind of operation. People reacted instantly, saying that sounded less like a recording facility and more like a command center for major productions. As always, none of this was verified, but the internet didn't need confirmation for the story to catch fire. Then came the video that truly shifted the conversation. Someone posted a clip of an interview where a producer mentioned he had visited the building years ago, before the renovations reached their final form. He said he had no idea the city had practically given away the property in a long-term lease, and that whatever changes were made afterward turned the place into what he described as a future shaped out of concrete and silence. The phrasing was unusual, almost poetic, but that's exactly why fans grabbed onto it. People edited the quote into memes, short clips, and reaction videos. They insisted the phrase hinted at something far bigger hidden inside the building, something that wasn't meant for public eyes yet. Several online commentators jumped in, claiming the studio wasn't designed just for music or film production, but for large-scale planning of whole entertainment projects. They speculated about private screening rooms, sound stages big enough to hold full sets, storage areas containing unreleased footage, and editing bays running all night long. Others went further and said there were probably sections used for training younger talent, giving them access to resources they could never find anywhere else. Fans debated for days, creating long threads about what purpose such an enormous, heavily modified space could possibly serve. What really fueled the fire was a story from someone who said their friend worked at a delivery company and once dropped off packages at the building. According to the story, the staff didn't allow anyone to enter past the front window unless they were on an approved list. If someone with a package wasn't on the list, they were told to leave it at the counter and step back immediately. One delivery worker said the team inside scanned every item the moment it entered the building, and that the process looked more like an airport security check than a studio receiving room. People online joked that the packages must contain something top secret, but others said maybe that level of caution meant important projects were being handled inside. Another rumor claimed that parts of the building had reinforced walls thicker than anything normally used in production spaces. One person said they noticed this detail when they visited years ago for a tour before the renovations began. They remembered seeing a strange panel that looked like it was designed to hold cables for broadcasting systems, not for typical studio wiring. These comments made fans wonder if the building had been prepared for live arenas, remote performance broadcasts, or even high-level industry meetings that required complete privacy. Once again, nobody had proof, but the speculation created a wave of excitement that refused to calm down. There was also talk about a wing that allegedly required a dual authentication system. According to someone who claimed they overheard the information during a side conversation, the system involved a passcode and a physical keycard, both required to open certain rooms. That alone made fans suspect something serious was happening behind those doors. The rumor gained traction when someone else claimed they heard about a similar system being used at high-end film studios that stored unreleased master recordings or sensitive scripts. People started asking if maybe the building housed unreleased material, including pilots, episodes, or music still under wraps. One particularly dramatic story came from a fan who said their brother, a technician, once had to replace a lighting fixture in the building. He allegedly described walking down a hallway that suddenly turned silent the moment he crossed a certain point, almost like the air itself had changed density. He said he felt a strange drop in temperature even though there were no vents nearby. The brother claimed that when he mentioned this to the on-site team, they just smiled and told him he had stepped into a zone built for complete environmental control. That phrase became another talking point online, with people guessing the space might be temperature regulated for equipment, archives, or delicate film materials. Another online commentator who claimed to be a former intern said they once accidentally opened a door they weren't supposed to. According to their story, the room they stepped into was far too large to be a simple editing bay. They described rows of equipment covered in cloth, large monitors mounted to the walls, and several black cases stacked neatly on steel shelves. They said a staff member immediately escorted them out without explaining what the room was used for, only reminding them to follow the map provided at the start of their shift. The intern said they never forgot the feeling that the room wasn't meant to be seen by newcomers yet. The intensity of these stories grew even more when a music supervisor claimed in a podcast that he had heard the building was equipped to handle full film production cycles from concept to final mix. He said he had never been invited inside, but that he heard people talk about a scoring room so quiet you could hear the hum of the lights. He also mentioned rumors about a section designed for voice acting, with soundproofing panels unlike anything he had ever seen before. The way he spoke about it added mystery because he kept saying he couldn't confirm any of it, but that the rumors alone made him curious about what was truly happening in those walls. As fans shared these claims, the conversation started merging into one huge narrative. People wondered why a place like that would exist unless it had a long-term purpose that went beyond ordinary production. Some suggested the building was being prepared for a major multimedia expansion that would merge film, television, streaming, and music into one massive operation. Others guessed the renovations were part of a vision for creating a hub where new creators could develop entire careers without leaving the facility. And then there were those who believed the deeper areas of the building might hold resources that had never been shown to the public, things only the inner circle knew existed. The speculation took another turn when someone posted photos of the outside of the building at night, showing only a few lights shining through tinted windows. People said the lack of visible activity made the place feel even more mysterious, almost like everything important happened deep inside, far from public view. The internet pointed out that the real action likely took place in areas no visitor could casually walk into. This led to theories about secure rooms built for private screenings, editing spaces equipped with unreleased footage, and vaults holding master recordings from years' worth of projects. And through all of this, one question kept echoing online: what exactly required so much secrecy and so many layers of protection inside a building that looked so simple from the outside? Fans kept repeating that same question as new posts surfaced from people claiming they had witnessed unusual activity around the building late at night. One person said they drove past the area after midnight and saw several trucks parked outside, all identical, all unmarked, and all leaving at the same time like they were following instructions. The person didn't see what they were carrying, but they said the drivers seemed focused, almost like they were handling sensitive material. The story spread instantly, with fans wondering why any studio would receive deliveries or shipments at such unusual hours. Someone joked that maybe new equipment was being moved in, but others insisted it felt more like a coordinated operation than a simple delivery run. Another fan claimed their friend lived only a few minutes away from the building and would occasionally hear low rumbling sounds coming from deep inside the structure late at night. According to them, it didn't sound like music or regular production noise. They said the vibrations were steady, almost rhythmic, like something mechanical was running beneath the floor. That comment sparked another wave of speculation, with people suggesting the building might have lower levels or underground areas not shown in any public layout. Some speculated there might be reinforced rooms for storing equipment that needed climate control or machinery running large multimedia servers for digital archives. The most dramatic rumor came from someone who said their relative worked briefly with one of the construction teams during the early renovation phase. They claimed there were days when workers had to sign agreements preventing them from discussing certain areas of the building that were being built behind closed partitions. According to the story, the team only worked on specific sections, while completely different crews handled the more restricted parts. The relative said those workers didn't mingle with the rest of the team and arrived and left separately. Fans grabbed onto this idea, saying it lined up with the belief that the place had private wings designed for long-term plans nobody outside the core team was supposed to know about yet. Meanwhile, a different rumor came from a man who claimed he once repaired a nearby power line and needed access to a utility area behind the property. He said he noticed an unusual number of backup generators placed in a fenced section behind the building. According to him, the number of generators didn't match a regular studio. He believed they could power an entire block if necessary. That detail sparked a wave of fan theories about why a place like that would need so much backup power. Some wondered if it housed expensive high-consumption gear, others guessed it was designed to stay operational during long production cycles without interruption. Another online commentator insisted they had visited the studio grounds years ago when it was part of the older facility. They said even back then, before 50 stepped in, the property felt too big for basic recording work. They described long hallways that didn't seem connected to anything, rooms with wiring panels that looked like they belonged in a broadcasting station, and loading docks that could support large shipments. When people read this story, they said it made sense that someone would choose this specific building if they wanted to turn it into something more ambitious. Fans argued that the bones of the place were already suitable for a massive expansion, and that maybe 50 saw potential in the structure long before renovations turned it into what it is now. A different wave of speculation formed around a moment caught in a behind-the-scenes clip where 50 walked through a hallway with a small group of staff members. As he talked, someone behind the camera asked him what was past a particular door. He laughed and said, "You don't want to go in there yet." The comment was probably a joke at the time, but now viewers treated it like a clue. People slowed the footage down, trying to identify the door he was pointing at, and debated for hours about what "yet" could possibly mean. Did it imply a room that wasn't finished, a project not ready for the public, or something else entirely? This small clip reignited discussions about the possibility of the building containing private projects, unreleased footage, or entire sets built for future productions. Some fans believed the room held early versions of scripts or show outlines that were part of long-term plans. Others said it might be a storage area for equipment used for scenes that were never aired publicly. Because the clip didn't provide any real context, fans filled in the blanks based on imagination and rumors they had already seen online. While all of this was happening, another story surfaced from someone who claimed they worked in real estate and had access to historical documents about the property. According to them, the original blueprint included several rooms marked with unusual labels that didn't match standard studio design. The person said some of the rooms were marked as private access only, while others were listed simply as reserved. They argued that these labels might refer to spaces intended for future use that were never completed until the new owners took over. Once this rumor spread, fans examined every available detail about the building, trying to figure out what those reserved zones could have been meant for. Another dramatic moment came from someone who claimed they knew a former contractor who helped install part of the ventilation system. According to this story, the contractor mentioned that the ventilation routes didn't follow typical studio patterns. Instead of straight lines connecting rooms, the system allegedly wound around in strange patterns, almost like the ducts were designed to bypass certain areas completely. The contractor said he found it odd but didn't ask questions because the foreman gave strict instructions to follow the provided diagrams without any modifications. This detail made fans wonder if some rooms were intentionally separated from the rest of the building to maintain complete privacy or support equipment that required isolated airflow. The theories got even wilder when someone claimed that certain parts of the facility had soundproofing far beyond what was needed for regular production work. They said the doors in some areas were so heavy that even several people pushing together struggled to open them. Others chimed in saying advanced soundproofing is often used for specialized recording or rooms that contain sensitive archives. Fans interpreted that as a sign that something important might be stored in those sections, maybe unreleased tracks or long-term projects. One of the biggest shifts in the discussion came from a fan who claimed their friend, who worked in lighting, once passed by a room that was completely dark except for a single glowing screen in the center. He didn't see what was on the screen, but he said it felt like the room was being used for reviewing material that wasn't ready to be discussed publicly. He didn't stay long because he wasn't supposed to be in that wing, but the image stayed with him. Fans reacted strongly to this claim, speculating that the glowing screen might have been showing early drafts, rough cuts, or confidential footage. Another rumor said the building had a recording booth with wiring that looked too advanced for regular studio use. People said this might indicate the booth was designed to handle more than standard audio sessions. Some fans believed it might have been built for scoring large scenes, with specialized panels that could handle multiple layers of sound simultaneously. Others speculated the booth might be used to record artists who needed a space completely separated from the rest of the building. The speculation reached yet another twist when someone posted anonymously claiming that there were 2 underground rooms built during the renovation. They didn't provide any photos or evidence, but they described the rooms as cold, silent, and almost completely bare aside from a few metallic structures. People said the description sounded too unusual to be a standard storage area. Some believed the rooms could be used for storing equipment that needed stable temperature. Others believed they were intended for projects with strict privacy requirements. And as each new claim appeared, whether believable or outrageous, the conversation kept returning to the same idea. If the inside of that building was truly as complex as these stories suggested, then the amount of money put into it made more sense than ever. What didn't make sense was why so many details remained hidden from the public, especially in an age where everything usually gets posted online. Fans kept asking themselves what kind of long-term plan justified creating a place with so many layers of secrecy, advanced infrastructure, and carefully protected sections that very few people were ever allowed to see. The question kept getting bigger as more people added their own versions of what they believed was happening behind those walls. One person claimed their uncle was once hired to transport equipment out of a closed-off section. According to the story, the uncle said he wasn't allowed to see what was inside the crates he moved. They were sealed with thick straps and marked with labels he didn't recognize. He said the team supervising the job barely spoke, only giving short instructions and reminding him not to stop or look around. When fans heard this tale, they immediately connected it to the earlier rumors about hidden wings, wondering if these crates were part of whatever everyone believed was still unfolding in the deeper parts of the building. Rumors kept stacking in layers, building a picture of the place that felt almost too large for a single purpose. Some fans suggested the construction was part of a strategy to create a multi-level creative base where entire productions could live from start to finish. Others said it was meant to house future projects in a space designed with near-military detail. Whatever the truth was, the excitement around the property refused to settle down. People said that the building felt like it carried a pulse of its own, something that grew louder with every rumor that appeared. Another story came from a woman who claimed she once waited in the lobby while a friend attended a meeting inside. She said the lobby felt normal at first, almost quiet enough that she assumed it was just another business space. But then she noticed something strange. She said the staff kept looking at a monitor behind the counter every few minutes, checking something she couldn't see. She overheard one worker say, "He's moving into the south wing," and the others nodded before adjusting whatever was on the screen. The woman had no idea what they were referring to, but the way they reacted suggested the building's internal activity was carefully monitored and coordinated. Meanwhile, another fan said that their brother worked on installing advanced lighting in one of the side rooms. He claimed the room was massive, with a ceiling so high it felt like a miniature sound stage. He couldn't figure out why a room meant for audio or filming needed that kind of height, unless it was designed for sets, props, or something that demanded more space than a normal production booth. The brother said the room had multiple lighting rails attached to motorized tracks, allowing them to move silently across the ceiling. Fans reacted strongly to this detail because it suggested the place could host entire scenes, not just studio sessions. The story grew even more intense when someone who claimed to be a former intern posted a long message about their experience. They said they were assigned simple tasks like sorting gear or labeling equipment, nothing important. But they described the moment they were asked to deliver a small case to a wing they had never entered before. The case wasn't heavy, but the staff member told them to keep it level at all times. When they reached the door, a guard scanned the case with a handheld device before letting them inside. The intern said the room they stepped into was dim and quiet, with a long table in the center and several screens on the wall showing what looked like rough cuts from various projects. The staff inside didn't notice them at first, but as soon as they did, they took the case, thanked them quickly, and directed them back outside. The intern said they never saw that wing again for the rest of their time there. This story made fans wonder if the building held a separate team working on secret material that wasn't ready to be shared with outside partners. Some said it might be a hidden division dedicated to new series or films. Others thought it could be a place where early ideas were shaped before being moved into production. The more people speculated, the more the picture of the building shifted from a simple studio to something resembling a private production city. A new rumor emerged from someone claiming they handled promotional work for various entertainment companies. They said they once had a brief meeting inside one of the offices near the entrance. According to them, the office had a strange layout, with glass panels that turned opaque at the push of a button. The staff explained that the panels were installed so private meetings could take place without anyone seeing inside. The person also claimed that when they left the office, they caught a glimpse of a corridor with doors that looked much heavier than normal. Fans immediately linked this detail to the earlier stories about advanced soundproofing and heavy door frames. One of the most dramatic accounts came from a man who insisted he visited the studio years ago for a small collaboration. He said at one point he walked past a hallway that was unusually cold compared to the rest of the building. When he mentioned it to a staff member later, they simply said, "That area needs a different climate." The man said he didn't ask anything else, but the memory stuck with him. Fans suggested this could mean the section stored important equipment that needed stable temperature, like servers, archives, or delicate recording machinery. Another person claimed they saw technicians moving a large cart through a hallway, covered completely with thick black fabric. They said the technicians walked quickly, almost nervously, checking over their shoulders as they pushed the cart forward. The person didn't know what was under the fabric, but the urgency of the moment made them believe it was something important. People online said it might have been new equipment, a prototype, or material from a project not yet public. As these stories continued to swirl, a different rumor suggested the building had a training area where younger talent was brought in to learn how to work with high-level equipment. The source said the space had a teaching setup, with several small stations arranged in a semicircle around a central console. They claimed this could be where new artists or crew members were taught to operate tools used for advanced production work. Fans liked this idea because it made sense with the building's enormous scale and heavy investment. But the rumor that truly caught fire came from a person who said their relative attended an event inside the building and ended up getting lost for a moment. While looking for the main hallway, they wandered into a side corridor lit with soft blue lights. They said the corridor felt unreal, almost like part of a set. They followed it until they reached a glass wall that looked into a room filled with what appeared to be large white panels arranged in geometric shapes. The relative said they didn't understand what the room was for, but it didn't resemble anything they expected to see inside a studio. Fans speculated wildly about what the panels could be, part of a sound design lab, a projection room, or a space used for building or testing visual concepts. As the stories continued spreading, fans noticed something interesting about all of them. Although each rumor added a different detail, they all pointed to the same idea: the building was far more complex than anyone realized. It wasn't just the size or the cost or the advanced equipment. It was the feeling that everything had been built with intention, with layers of planning that suggested long-term goals hidden beneath the surface. And that's what kept people talking. Nobody knew how much of any of this was true, but the mystery itself became the story. Fans didn't need confirmation to stay hooked. The idea that a place could be so quietly powerful, so deeply planned, so carefully protected made the entire conversation feel like a puzzle waiting to be solved. Every rumor, every whispered detail, every small piece of information added another block to the image of a building that wasn't just a studio but something far more ambitious, something that sparked endless curiosity because nobody outside the core team truly knew what was happening behind those walls. After everything that's been shared, whispered, hinted, and speculated, one thing has become clear to everyone watching from the outside: whatever truly lies inside that massive building continues to shape its own legend. The stories never match perfectly, yet they all circle the same point: a feeling that something purposeful is unfolding behind doors most people will never walk through. Maybe it's a creative powerhouse built for projects still years away from reaching the public. Maybe it's an archive of material that holds entire worlds of storytelling. Or maybe the mystery itself is part of the design, a quiet reminder that not everything in the entertainment world is meant to be simple or predictable. What has kept fans so locked into this conversation is the sheer weight of the investment, the secrecy of certain wings, and the endless stream of people claiming they saw something unusual inside. Whether every rumor is true or not, the curiosity only grows stronger. And that's why so many viewers keep asking the same question: what made this building important enough to pour so much money, detail, and planning into it? As long as that question remains unanswered, the speculation will continue, and the story will keep pulling people back in. If you've been watching all of this unfold and you've got your own thoughts about what's hiding behind those tinted windows and guarded hallways, I want to hear from you. Drop your theories in the comments and tell me what you think is really going on inside that place. Hit the like button if you enjoyed diving into this mystery with me, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Your support helps keep these deep dives alive, and I'd love to hear your take on this entire unfolding story. Let's see what theories you come up with.